Hello everyone, I'm Eternal Flame here, and today I wanted to talk about something that I believe is a massively underutilized concept within JJK that a lot of other people have talked about in the past, and more importantly, how I would actually fix this underutilized concept, which that concept is cursed spirits itself. Cursed spirits are probably one of the coolest aspects of JJK, and is barely used by Gege, and I feel like it has so much more potential than what Gege had done with it, so in this video I kind of want to see if I can fix them or not. Also, at the end of the video, I have a special announcement, but I'm going to stop wasting your time now and actually get into the video. Up first, I kind of want to talk about how society itself treats cursed spirits, as well as how cursed spirits are kind of talked about in the lore itself. Jujutsu sorcerers exist ultimately to get rid of cursed spirits, where there's no true permanent solution for them other than teaching everyone on the globe cursed energy, or just killing every single non-sorcerer on the planet, or turning everyone into Toji's Eni, but that's by far and away the hardest solution. This is because of what cursed spirits are, which is negative emotions from humanity taken into form through the medium of cursed energy. Some of these negative emotions can center around places with bad memories, while others can center around fears of things in general, such as fears of natural disasters or fear and hatred of humanity. With several emotions being the basis of this, not just fear, but basically any negative emotions felt by a large amount of humanity can end up creating these cursed spirits on different levels of grades. Which is what these cursed spirits are meant to be, an ever-growing threat that's going to get worse and worse because more and more humans are going to exist, while the average of Jujutsu sorcerers are just going to get stronger and stronger, which by extension, thanks to Gojo, we know the cursed spirits are going to get stronger in turn. At least that's what they're supposed to feel like based on everything that we were told about them. They are an ever-growing threat that will always exist as a threat to society. However, while that was the idea behind them, the execution for that idea was either forgotten or very, very poorly done. Where instead of cursed spirits being their own individual threats, or being able to feel like they're their own individual threats, instead they are treated as tools to be used by the sorcerers and nothing more than a pawn in the sorcerer's game of Kenjaku. Now, I do want to say this, I absolutely love the disaster curses. Mahito is who I genuinely think is the best villain of all of JJK, and while I do sometimes feel like other villains have their better moments, I still feel like Mahito is one of the best villains in JJK. Jogo has something very interesting about him that he introduces, which is the concept of what truly makes someone human, the emotions that they feel, or what they decide to do with those emotions. Hanami is a really cool design, and I absolutely love Dagon. I think Dagon is extremely underrated. However, my main problem with a lot of these cursed spirits is they don't feel like they can stand on their own. While of course they do stand on their own as characters, they still ultimately are not a threat on their own, because they are mainly a threat because of a human controlling them. Now, I will say this, in my plan I would never alter Mahito or any of the disaster curses type of character of being manipulated by Kenjaku. I genuinely think that is a really good thing. But one of my biggest issues with cursed spirits is they never really feel like a threat on their own, and they only feel like a threat when they're being directed by someone like Kenjaku or someone like Geto. Like, even when you look at other cursed spirits we see in the series, Rika is just an extension of Yuta, Cursed Naoya is literally just a human being brought back as a curse, so they really aren't as special, and Kurorushi is a cursed spirit that Kenjaku released. The rest of curses are just used as fodder in order to make someone look cool upon killing them, and while I do get that's a good way to use them, I feel they just have a lot more potential, especially considering how the world treats them. These are threats to humanity that have been fighting humanity for over 1,000 years, that have constantly existed and been responsible for several mysterious deaths that cannot be explained. I feel like if we at some point got some naturally pretty strong cursed spirits, of course none can be as strong as Gojo because Gojo has to be the strongest and Sukuna is also the strongest, but some strong cursed spirits that could challenge people like Yuji, Yuta, Megami, etc., all these curses that are naturally spawning, it could really show just how dangerous of a threat cursed spirits are, and more importantly why Jujutsu sorcery is such a needed job. Like, it's rare when we actually see cursed spirits being a threat, other than the cursed spirits that are being directed by Kenjaku, or being set up by Kenjaku himself. I honestly believe there are some interesting potential for cursed spirits that would be interesting to conflict with characters, while also at the same time showing the impact of a Jujutsu sorcerer and why Jujutsu sorcerers are needed outside of Kenjaku, because these spirits would have always ended up existing. And the worst part about this is we have a bit of a demo of why cursed spirits are threatening, and that demo is Junpei's arc. We actually see what a cursed spirit when they get bored ends up doing, which is ruining a kid's life for fun. It's also why I like the Junpei arc so much. It truly shows the threats that cursed spirits are to the world, shows why these chaotic creatures need to be taken out or else humanity is going to be destroyed in the process. However, that's where one of my big problems with Jujutsu Kaisen and how cursed spirits are treated comes from, which is the main fact that we don't really see any cursed spirits that are threats on their own. For example, the 4 disaster curses, while they are strong on their own, they are also strong because Kenjaku taught them things. For example, domain amplification was something Kenjaku taught them, which made them all significantly stronger. Or the Finger Bearers is another example, which the Finger Bearers are strong, but that's only because they consumed the Sukuna finger. They aren't strong on their own. And that's just talking about the level of threat that cursed spirits are treated as by the story itself. Like, imagine if Jujutsu Kaisen took advantage of how cursed spirits functioned. Remember when Sukuna wiped out an entire city using his domain expansion? Imagine if all of those people and their negative emotions towards the fact they were dying right now decided to manifest as one curse, being the one curse that is the literal embodiment of everything that Sukuna had done in Yuji's body, all the negative emotions that it caused as a consequence for Yuji to have to fight. And that's just one example that I can think of off the top of my head. And this is where we get into a second problem that I also have with them. Jujutsu Society is not ending up producing more and more curses despite how horrible Jujutsu Society actually is. Jujutsu Society, and especially the way the big three clans end up treating things, is horrible. So as a way to show what's wrong with the world, you could have several people in Jujutsu Society genuinely turn into vengeful spirits, just as a way to prove that Gojo's way is right, that the world needs to be changed, and Jujutsu Society cannot be running the world. And now you might be wondering, how might sorcerers choose to turn themselves into vengeful spirits? Remember, the way the vengeful spirit is created is them dying by a means that's not curse energy. Or another way that cursed spirits could genuinely be used is making them players in the culling games. I'm actually really surprised there are not more players in the culling games that aren't cursed spirits. Because imagine you're a civilian inside of a city that has now been turned into a battleground that you are not allowed to leave in, and you have no way to contact anyone from the outside world. Not to mention the fact that Kenjaku had just revealed to the world that curse energy is a thing, that curse energy does exist. And this also offers the possibility of really cool scenes. For example, one scene during Sendai Colony of Yuta, Uro, and Ryu about to fight each other and about to enter into their domain clashes before they then suddenly get overwhelmed by a large amount of curses, so the three of them have to agree to take out the swarm of curses coming at them and put their battle on hold for now until all the cursed spirits around them are dead. And now you might be wondering, aren't the cursed spirits just not going to be strong enough to do this? Well, fortunately, you have an answer that's already baked into how the world of Jujutsu Kaisen works. When Gojo Satoru was born, cursed spirits around the globe had to get stronger as a result of his birth. Of course, no one here is going to be on par with Gojo Satoru at all, but now you have hundreds of sorcerers from ancient eras that are particularly noted to be stronger in comparison to this era, that are now manifesting. So that could end up having an effect on the cursed spirits that also manifest to match that. And that would do really well in keeping the theme up that cursed spirits are always a threat. That cursed spirits are always the threat of Jujutsu sorcerers no matter the era, no matter how selfish. Their main threat is always going to be cursed spirits and eliminating those cursed spirits, and then they can continue on with whatever their desires are after, because no matter what, cursed spirits are going to get in the way of humans. It can also show the difference between sorcerers who actually do somewhat care at least about humanity, and sorcerers who just don't give a damn about humanity at all. For example, I could very easily see a sorcerer like Ryu or Uro doing some things in order to actually help humans. The main reason why I can see this is because of the main factor of them not attacking a single civilian during the time they were in the barrier, and them having points because of that. Meanwhile, at the same time, someone like Druve were attacking civilians inside of the barrier to get points. And I do want to note this as well, this is only me talking about how cursed spirits can be used to amplify certain plot points or be utilized in the plot itself. This isn't even me talking about specific concepts for cursed spirits, because if I were to talk about that, I would be here all day. However, just to list a few of them, there's one I already talked about in this video, which is Yuji Itadori having to fight a cursed spirit that spawned because of Sukuna wiping out Shibuya, and all the civilians who had negative emotions towards Sukuna manifesting as a cursed spirit that Yuji would have to put down. A cursed spirit is the manifestation of the negative emotions towards death. Now you might be thinking that's Mahito, but Mahito is the negative manifestation of people and how people feel about each other, not towards death itself. Or the cursed spirit towards the fear of technology itself, because a lot of people are genuinely afraid of technology evolving out of control. A lot of people have negative emotions towards technology, all the way down to some people being angry about technology taking their jobs, or just sometimes when you're angry about how your computer is functioning, it can end up manifesting as a cursed spirit. Or the cursed spirit towards war itself. A cursed spirit that is the manifestation of people's negative emotions towards war, that is able to have all of the powers of a war cursed spirit. Which of course that's just going to be like the war devil from Chainsaw Man, but I digress. But even then, you don't have to fully base them off war. You can subvert a lot of expectations for how they would fully end up manifesting. Now, if you guys do want to see me create my own cursed spirits in a separate video, comment down the word cursed creation in the comment section down below. But anyways, I just generally think there is so much potential for cursed spirits to have. But more importantly, the more and more cursed spirits are shown to be a danger, the more and more we feel that being a Jujutsu sorcerer is important. Now yes, we do see several people dying from curses, but in my opinion, it is not enough people that we actually see dying and suffering because of curses' existence. And furthermore, by doing this, it gives so much more weight to a lot of characters. It gives a lot more weight to Gojo's goal about creating a better society because of how much of a threat that curses are proving to be. It gives so much more weight to Geto's goal about trying to find a way around curses because how much of a threat that curses are already proving to be, that by exterminating humanity as a whole, in Geto's mind, would be a better outcome than having to deal with cursed spirits taking people every single day. Now yes, I know Geto also wanted to wipe out humanity because he did hate humanity, but I do also believe he genuinely wanted to stop cursed spirits from manifesting, and he wanted to save sorcerer lives, so this would give even more weight to Geto's actions. It especially would give weight to Yuki's actions as well, and Yuki's goal of making a world without cursed energy, because cursed spirits will continue to be threats that we are going to directly see on screen time and time again, that will never end up getting weaker no matter what the scenario is. Just while the cast gets stronger, so do these cursed spirits in order to match the cast. That while the only thing they can do right now is treat the symptoms rather than treating the disease itself, that they need to find a way to actually treat the disease in order to make things better, because that is the only true cure to the problem. But most of all, it gives more weight to being a Jujutsu sorcerer, showing that being a Jujutsu sorcerer is a necessary job that people have to have, or else humanity would be doomed. Now, I do believe that JJK does well in showing that aspect of it, of why being a Jujutsu sorcerer is necessary, but by focusing more and more on curses, it could really show the importance of being a Jujutsu sorcerer. Now, I genuinely don't think the main plot of JJK should be changed. I think the main plot of JJK is amazing, but I think it would be a really great addition to actually have people focus on cursed spirits, like having some side manga that are focused on that, or having some side novels that are focused on being a Jujutsu sorcerer and having to fight these cursed spirits. However, that's my opinion on why I think cursed spirits are wasted as a concept, where I believe they could have done a lot more, but they are just used as a tool in order to move the plot forward. Now, while yes, that's what all things in the plot are introduced for, it really just feels like that's the only reason cursed spirits exist for, rather than them having their own identity and actually pushing forward the reason why they exist and what we were told about them in the beginning. However, that's my opinion, and I want to hear what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you guys think I'm right? Do you guys think I'm crazy? Let me know.